Hey everybody, welcome back, and we are continuing our playthrough of 6th Fleet from Victory Games, scenario number 5, Aegean Strike. And we're stepping into game turn 4. It's an AM turn, so we have some extra added steps. I don't think I got anything wrong last turn I played through. That is a rarity, and that does not happen that often. I'm actually quite pleased and surprised I managed to make it through that without very many rules flubs. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the sequence of play. Strategic cycle, AM game turns only. Political events, which is advanced game only. Random events phase, advanced game only. Reinforcements phase, advanced game only. Now, strategic air phase. Now we're going to start getting into a little bit more fun than we had the last strategic air phase. I still don't know where the stupid Nimitz battle group is. Although I am going to probably be picking up on the Jersey here this turn. The problem we are looking at is that the Soviets have one fighter squadron on the Minsk. Yak-36s. They're not that good at air superiority. But I need to put them into the Central Med, even though they'll probably get blown out of the sky, because I've got to get reconnaissance. The Soviets have got to get reconnaissance units in there. From the U.S. side of things, they've got to be a little bit careful, because now they're getting closer and closer to being tagged by those Badgers. And if the Badgers unleash on them, they need to make sure they have enough of an Air Force on cap. Now, we know we can only have 3 aircraft on cap. So that gives us a little bit of wiggle room. I mean, I can throw, the 2 F-18 squadrons on the intercept in the Central Med if I have to, although one of them's damaged. Yeah, it's going to be kind of... I have a feeling the Soviets are going to need to sacrifice that Yak-36 to try to pull off some aircraft and try to get some reconnaissance into the Central Med. So, but let's go ahead and, like I said, as we're doing it a little bit differently, and I have... I can't really do it double blind like the rules say. I'm going to go ahead and roll initiative and start alternating back and forth. 6, U.S. gets to throw up first. Well, first thing, U.S. is going to throw up the F-16s from Sigonella, and they're going to go on intercept in the Central Med. I'm going to have to do it. The Yak-36s from the Minsk are going to go up onto intercept in the Central Med as well, so we're definitely going to have some shooting action back and forth there. Now, back to the U.S. Let's go ahead and take the P-3s out of Sigonella and put them on recon in the Central Med, because we do have a couple submarines we do not know are there. In return, let's take these Tupolevs from Benghazi, put them on recon in the Central Med. Let's go ahead and take P-3s out of Naples, put them on recon in the Central Med. The other Soviet Tupolevs out of the Crimea. It's probably overkill, but let's see if we can try to get some. We're gonna have to flood it to try to get at least one reconnaissance unit to live, so we can spot the Nimitz. And let's go ahead and take the P-3 squadron out of Sardinia, and let's put them in the Aegean Sea Zone on a recon. We want to try to spot those 2 OSA patrol boat squadrons up there, or maybe even spot the Kirov or that sub. We got plenty of options with that. The Soviets, they've got one other. Let's go ahead and put this guy on tactical coordination in the Central Med. Now, let's see. The U.S. still has a few things on the Nimitz. Okay, we can't use those two. Can't use those two. Let's see. Got an early warning squadron. Or electronic warfare squadron. Oh, okay. We're gonna go ahead and keep her on the Nimitz. The AS. Well, let's just go ahead and take a look at what we got from the U.S. planes. Okay, so the electronic warfare, we're not going to send on anything. The ASW, the intercept. Oh, you know what? We're going to have to pull one of the Tomcats, the F-14s. We're going to have to put her on intercept in the Central Med as well, because we want to try to make sure that we secure air superiority there. And we're going to have to leave that for one of the F-14s for cap, the advanced early warning for cap, and one of the F-18s will have to go on cap as well, because we can only have 3 air units on cap, which will leave us the electronic warfare, an A6 squadron, and the damaged F-18 squadron to go after enemy ships if needed. Alrighty. Okay, so that's the strategic air allocation. Now we go into something that I don't do very often. The intercept segment, I believe it is. Interception. Opposing units, air units on intercept missions in the same zone undertake air-to-air combat. Alright, so I'm going to have to review that real quick. Okay. During the segment of the strategic air phase, opposing air units on intercept missions within the same zone must perform air-to-air combat against one another. First, players should check each other's strategic air display zone by zone. A single air combat must take place in a given zone if both players have assigned air units to intercept missions. Okay, so... Alright, so we got intercept. And let's go ahead and focus this down on the air-to-air combats table while I take the aircraft off. And we've got F-14s, F-16s against Yak-36s. And the anti-aircraft value is the lower right-hand number. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Actually, that's probably zoomed in too far. It's going to be blurry. Alright. Alright, well, we'll give up on zooming in. Let's go ahead and put it in hand. Alright, so we've got... the Yak has got an intercept of 4 versus a 17 of the U.S. That's going to be 6-to-1 odds. 4-to-1 odds. 4-to-1 odds. So 4-to-1 odds, not looking good for the Yak. Look on the intercept table. 4-to-1 odds is this column right here. Roll it 4. That's not going to be good. Yeah. Which is going to be 2R. Which is going to be 2 step losses. So the Yak-36s are blown out of the sky. And the U.S. interceptors have maintained or achieved air superiority. Oops, wrong way. In the Med. That's not real good. Now we have the bounce segment, which is during this segment, air units still on intercept missions can initiate air-to-air combat against enemy units on reconnaissance, tactical coordination, and mining missions in the same zone. The only player can attack one enemy strategic air mission per friendly unit on an intercept mission. Attacks by intercepting units are made one at a time. Okay, so we've got 3 Soviet Tupolevs in zone, and we can intercept 2 of them. 2 of them are on reconnaissance, and 1 of them is on tactical coordination. So we're just going to go after the reconnaissance because the U.S. really doesn't want their carriers found. It's going to be 8-1 and 9-1 both ways, so we're looking at the 3-1 column, so this is going to be really bad for the Soviets. So the first one, 6, yep, blows those Tupolevs out of the sky. And the other one is a 3, which does 1 step loss and forces her to return to base. So the U.S. have successfully eliminated or driven off all Soviet reconnaissance in the Central Med. Now they still got the unit on tactical coordination, so that unit will still be able to perform its mission. But that's it. No reconnaissance. Distressing and disappointing, but not surprising. Then mining missions, which we have none. Reconnaissance missions. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at reconnaissance missions. The U.S. has a P3 Orion in the Aegean Sea Zone, so it can spot either 1 sub or 2 surface. Let's go ahead and spot the Kirov battle group and spot one of the P3s, or the P3s, the OSA patrol boats. They've also got 2 units on reconnaissance in the Central Med, which will allow them to light up both Soviet submarines that nobody knew were there. Well, not that they didn't know they were there. They had lost track of them during the night. And the US and the Soviets still don't know where the Nimitz is. Wonderful. I have a feeling those subs are going to be going on a dedicated search for the Nimitz battle, or for the why do I want to? Yeah, I keep wanting to call it the Kennedy, but yeah, it's the Nimitz. All right. Something I need to check real quick. Okay, but anyways, in the detection phase, players now place detection markers on surface and submarine units that occupy limited or extended detection zones. In addition, for each air unit on a strategic reconnaissance, yada yada yada. Okay, so basically, what we've got here is oh, there's one other thing I think I forgot. Has that happened yet? Oh, that hasn't happened yet. You don't have to worry about it yet. All right, so now, since the Jersey battle group at the beginning of the AM turn is in a detection zone of a Soviet unit, that gets detected. Conversely, the submarine gets detected as well because it's in the limited detection zone of another submarine and the task group there. Now we have task force reorganization, and so what we're going to do is we're going to pull the Deo off and officially stick her in with the Jersey battle group. So she is now part of the battle group. Place those guys back on the field. Okay, so yeah, okay. Did kind of mess. No, was that a little bit? Okay, I gotta check the rules real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Had to go run into the Second Fleet rules to try to get a clarification on something. I have to do that every once in a while because Sixth Fleet, as amazing as the rules are written, it got cleaned up a lot in Second Fleet, and some of the ambiguity that was in Sixth Fleet got taken care of in Second Fleet, and that's what I had to go do. Basically, as the rules are written in Sixth Fleet, you can only do a local detection if you start off an AM turn next to or in the limited or extended range of an enemy surface unit. Other than that, you have to rely on air detection, which also takes place in the AM turn. So what basically that's saying is I could take both of these submarines, move them up here. I could put them in the same hex with the task force, and they would never be able to detect them until the next morning, which means 3 turns from now, basically. Second Fleet cleaned that up a little bit. They moved the local detection phase to the activation phase, so at the beginning of each activation phase, you have local detection, which I think makes a little bit more sense. So we're going to go ahead and run with that, because as is written now, I won't be able to find the Nimitz battle group until tomorrow, even if both of those submarines go and are basically sitting right underneath them, like, nope, we don't know where they are. Derp, 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 derp. So anyways, that's what I had to check. Had to go run into the second edition rules to get a little clarification on that. I could have swore I remember that from earlier games, but I just had to check it out. So and confirm. All right, so that's it for the special AM turn. I think that's it. Let me check the turn sequence real quick. Task force phase. Oh yeah, task force phase. We formed up the Deo into. All right, yeah. Activity cycle cap phase. So as the F-14 and the F-18 squadron and the E-2 squadron from the Nimitz, we're going to go ahead and go on cap, and that's it. So we'll go into the activation phase. Let's see who gets to go first. 1, Soviets get to go first. Oh, let me go ahead and make sure I jot this down. And you know what? We're gonna go with crap. Oh, poopy. You know what? We're going to go with air. Because we've spotted the Jersey Task Force. So, we are going to go ahead and form up our Tupolevs and the electronic warfare craft that they have. And they are going to be flying out of Sevastopol. They've got a movement of 60. And basically, you can fly over in the advanced game, you got to be real careful who you fly over. It'll interfere with their neutrality. But in the intermediate and basic and intermediate rules, you can fly over anybody. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And we want to stay the hell away from the 4-hex range of the cap from the Nimitz, because we do not want to get jumped by them. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Yep, so they can get there. Didn't fly over any enemy bases, didn't fly in the cap. I don't think I flew in the cap. Yeah, I didn't fly into the cap range of the Nimitz. And we're going to have a lot of fun bombing the bejesus out of the Jersey battle group. So, yeah, we know. So let's just go ahead. Actually, let's shift the camera over. Kind of see what we're doing a little bit better. All right, so basically we've got 3 Badger squadrons, about 20 ships. Oh, actually, I don't even have to get that close. That's the thing. Let's go ahead and what the hell did I do with my tweezers? Oh, there they are. All right. So if you notice, we're not doing a bombing mission. We're actually doing a SSN strike. They've got an SSN value of 50, but they've got a range of 4. So that means they can stay 4 hexes off. So right here, or actually right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, they can launch their missiles from here and then fly back. That's going to come up important if I ever do a SSN strike with the Tupolevs on the Nimitz battle group. But for our purposes right now, you know, that's fine. And we've also got the electronic warfare aircraft. And the electronic warfare aircraft, let me go ahead and... okay. If an EW air unit is part of a stack of air units executing bombing or SSN combat against enemy surface, area unit value of each enemy surface within the unit target is reduced by 1 for the combat. Okay, so that's good to know. So, little background mechanics. I got there all the same. So we've got 150 airstrikes, or 150 points. And we've got the electronic warfare, which is going to reduce all area fire by anti-aircraft fire by 1. So now I need to, and there's no cap. I'm not getting bounced. It's coming straight in. So now I just have to decide where those are going to go. You know what? I'm going to put 90 on the Jersey. That leaves me, what, 60? We'll put 30 on the Deo and 30 on the Merrill. Basically, 90 is the most that I can throw at the most attacks on the attack column. So we're going to put 90 into the Jersey, and then 30 into the Deo and 30 into the Merrill. So now we have to figure out what the air defense value is. Okay, and this is an SSN combat. Combine area AA values of all units in the target hex, and that's all -1. So 0, 3, 4, oh my. 4 area. Then add the close A values of target units. 4, 10, and or 5 and 5 is 10 is 14, 15, 16, 17. And then the close A values of ships under target units unless they're a target as well. So basically we can't add in the Maryland Deo again, but since the New Jersey's getting tapped, we can bring in the close AA of the Biddle and the Simmons. And I totally forgot what I had got up to that point. Let's go ahead and recount that. 3, 4, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. 23 defense. It's actually not real good. So, that's enough to get us on the 21 to 27 column. Okay, we rolled a 5, which is going to be good. And 21 to 27 is a 5. Now, if we're doing... Okay, so the modifier is a 5. Actually, it should be +2 because it's a task group. So we actually roll a 5, becomes a 7, which is a 6. It's a modifier of 6, defensive modifier of 6. Alrighty, so the 90 points going into the New Jersey rolls a 6, which brings it down to a 0, which is a 5, which is more than half the defense of the Jersey. The Jersey takes a couple strikes and is damaged. We're putting 30 into the Deo at -6. 6 is a 0 on the 30 column, is going to be 3 points of damage, which is equal to the Deo, manages to sink her. And 30 points into the Merrill. 6 is going to be the exact same thing again. It's going to be on the 0 column on the 28 to 35, which is 3 points of damage, which sinks the Merrill. Alrighty. Kind of put that in perspective. There was roughly 60 to 80 Tupolevs Badger bombers coming in, each one of them carrying, depending on their loadout, 3 or 4 surface-to-surface missiles, which would be close to 200 missiles in the sky, even factoring in the 25% failure rate of most Soviet surface-to-surface missiles. We're still looking at well over 100 missiles that came screaming in and managed to damage the Jersey and sink the Dale and Merrill. Not a good turn for the U.S. Not at all. And no damage to the Tupolevs because they fired from range. So they all return to Sevastopol. And the unit loses its task force designation because it is more or is less than 4 units. Not a good turn for the U.S. And that is all the air that the U.S. can do. So, now, let's go ahead and shift the camera back over to where it normally is, roughly. Alright. Now it's the U.S. turn. And they... counters falling off the edge over here. I have to move them, I have a feeling. All right. Okay. U.S. phase now. Yeah, because that's basically all the aircraft that the Soviets have. You know what? Let's go with U.S. subs. Okay. So we got the drum who's wounded here. She's only got 6 SSNs. No, not even worth it. She's got 11 torpedoes, 5 ASW. You know what? Let's go 1, 2, 3 because we know that those Soviet subs are going to be trying to hunt down the Nimitz. So the drum is going to go ahead and attack the wounded, or I keep calling it wounded, damaged Soviet submarine there. ASW 5, no ASW defense roll. So we're looking at a 3 to 5 column. We rolled a 6. On the 3 to 5 column is a 3. And that submarine only has a defense value of 6, which is a hit, and she's already damaged, so she gets sunk. Shit to the bottom. And the Soviets know she's there. The Baltimore is also going to go a 1, 2 and go hunting this Soviet submarine. Her value is a 5 as well. We got a 5 on the 5, which is a 3. And her value is a 6, so she ends up being damaged. And then we've got the Boston up here with an ASW of 9 going against that Soviet submarine. We got a 4 on the 9 column, which is a 3, although I think this is one of the alphas, or yeah, her defense is a 7, so she doesn't get injured. And we've got another sub right here with the ASW of 6. So she's going to hit that Soviet sub there. I believe that's one of the older kilos. So, oh, 1 on the 6 column is a 1 point of damage, which does nothing. All right. Not as it actually wasn't too bad. Finished off one of the Soviet subs and damaged another one. But the 2 subs up there playing with the Jersey are still a threat. So now we're going to activation 4, which is going to be the U.S. I think we're going to go. Let's see, we did subs last time. All right, let's go surface. And let's just go ahead and start off with these guys. See if they've got even a competent amount of ASW. All right, they've got 6 ASW. So they're going to throw their 6 ASW at that submarine. 4 on the 6 column is a 3. And that's one of the older subs with a defense of 6, so that ends up damaging her. And I can still move, because you can move and attack and move, whatever combination. Unfortunately, with the wounded Jersey, her movement has been reduced. So she can only, the group can only move 3. So we'll go ahead and put her there. And the Nimitz is not going to do anything. The Nimitz is sitting fat and happy, being undetected. So flips over to the Soviets. Soviets did air. So now I think they are going to do their subs. This one's going to stay where he's at. And that one's undamaged, so she's going to move up and attack the Boston. Her ASW is a 9. This may be the end of the Boston. 5 on the 9 column is a 4. Her defense is a 7, which is greater than half, so she takes another hit, and she's already damaged. Excuse me, so she is sunk. I mess up the turn order again. I think I may have messed up the turn order again. Yeah, you know what? I did mess up the turn order. No, I didn't. This is even writing it down. I can't remember. Crap. U.S. Okay, so the surface. Okay, so. All right, so still the Soviets. I'm sorry. She is going to move up here, and she is not going to. Well, let's see. She's only got 9 torpedoes. She's just going to try to detect them at the beginning of next turn. So we got this sub here, which has got a grand total of 2. She's going to try to hit, who is that? That's one of the U.S. subs. Column of 2. 2 on the 5, or 5 on the 2 column is a 2, which isn't going to be enough. And the Soviet big baddie up here with 9 is going to attack this sub. So a 2 on the 9 column is going to be a 2, which isn't going to be enough to damage. But you know what? These subs are actually going to move as well. a shot, and they're going to move. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And she's got 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So that's the second, and now the third activation phase. I think. God, I wish I could keep better track of that. Soviet surface and U.S. air. Okay, so 6. So the U.S. gets it. Their air. You know what? They're going to launch another strike at the Minsk. They're going to launch the... two squadrons and the electronic warfare squadron, and they're going to be going after the Minsk battle group. All right, there's no and this is gonna this is gonna have to be bombing combat, because the F-18 doesn't have any surface to surface. It's just got bombing. So we got 75 points of bombing coming in. Let's go ahead and put 30 on the Olach and 45 on the, is that right? 75, 30, and 40, yeah. 30 on the Olach and 45 on the Azov. So area anti-aircraft is 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And close is another 9. So that's 22. Wow. All right, so 22. They're no longer a task group, so they don't get the +2 dice roll. So 4 on the 22 column is going to be a 5. And since this is a bombing combat, dice roll modifier between 5 and 7, 1 air unit is damaged. We're going to have to damage the A6. And unfortunately, that drops that, I believe, I'm not going to check it right now, but I think that may, actually, let me go ahead and check that. I think I might have to modify my attack numbers. Damage to air units. Okay, I don't think it says. I'm not going to worry about it. So it's a defense value of 5. And it helps if I actually point the camera at the actual units that we're fighting with. All right, so we have 30 going at the Olach, so we've got a 3 minus 5 is a -2 on the 30 column, which is going to be a 2, which is going to be more than half of her defense, so she's damaged. And we got 45 against the Azov. We got a 2 minus 5, which is a -3 on the 45 column, is a 2, which is equal to half of her value, so she is damaged as well. All right, so U.S. Air has basically torn apart the Minsk battle group. She needs to do something quickly because she's just been a very large target for the U.S. aircraft. Managed to sink 2 ships, damage 2 more, only at the cost of roughly a squadron of aircraft. Comnav 6th Fleet is probably very, very pleased with that, even though they have managed to lose more ships and subs than the Soviets at this point. Simple fact that they've managed to cripple the Minsk battle group. Also, the Nimitz has got a ASW squadron. And you know what? They're going to go ahead and hit these guys right here. That's trying to hunt her down. So we've got a value ASW of 3. We've got a 2 on the 3 column, which is going to be 1, which isn't going to be enough. And I believe that's it for air. And now we have Soviet surface. Let's see. Kirov is still operating pretty well. So you know what? I think they're going to stay in the Aegean. They're going to go ahead and shift to right there. The Minsk, what they're going to be able to do is try hunting down, what's that, the drum. Yeah, that's the drum. They're going to try hunting down the drum. Their ASW is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, hunting down the drum with a ASW of 12. Oh, 1 on the 12 column is a 2, which is not going to be enough. Nope, her defense is a 6. Not enough to wound her. All right. Well, that was kind of an exciting turn. Air definitely seems to be the deciding factor so far. None of the task groups have really shot at each other. The Minsk has gotten torn up pretty bad, and we've crippled the New Jersey task group. The sub war is still up in the air. I mean, it can go either way. I think long term the U.S. will probably squeak it out. But, and I'm sorry, this seemed a bit... It didn't seem like my mind was all there, but there was a lot of things I was trying to keep track of for this turn for some reason. So I apologize if it seemed a little bit disjointed, and hopefully next turn we'll be able to fix that, and we won't have that issue. Questions, comments, concerns? Oh! Let's bring aircraft off of cap. Which really the only thing we have to worry about now is the U.S. because the Minsk's air wing has been shot out of the sky. And that's it. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section. And I will talk to everybody next time.